All right, so let me share with you the terms. Okay. So I'm just looking and I'm saying, ooh, this looks exciting. So I want to be on the side that says converting to standard form. Or wait, which one am I? Sorry, I am also. Why can I not? I have a different one, so that's why I'm confusing myself. Hold on, I got papers everywhere. Papers for days. Let me find the actual one I want to do. Oh my god, lots of papers. Sorry. I feel like I haven't really made up any copies this year, and then we've been like so aggressive. Okay. The first side should say converting to general form notes. So we'll start with that one, and then we'll flip to the standard form on the back. Our main goal is we know standard form, so can we get it in this new form? And the forms are written at the top. So I'll just kind of write them out just for our reference. We've been dealing with standard form of a circle. We've been getting used to it. At this point, we should hopefully feel pretty confident with it. And that's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So we're pretty comfortable with that general one. But now we have this one called general form. Ooh. So basically, that's what's going to happen when we kind of multiply everything out and simplify that. And it comes out to ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals 0. Okay. Whew. There we go. So it's right at the top there, so I was just rewriting it just for reference. So let's kind of go through the steps to put something from standard form into general form. So the example says we have x minus 3 squared plus, it should say y plus 4 squared. There's just a little typo there. So right where it says example at the top, it should say y plus 4 squared. And that equals 25. The nice thing is, like, if you forget, over the next few days, everything's listed there. So let's actually go through that list and we'll see what we're doing. So first step, move constant to the other side. So we see in general form, see how it's equal to 0. So we want to set this equal to 0 first. So I'm going to write it as x minus 3 squared plus y plus 4 squared minus 25 equals 0. Okay, that's all that stuff. Step 2. Write binomials twice, so we call that expanding the binomial. If I have x minus 3 squared, that's just x minus 3 times x minus 3. Y plus 4 squared is y plus 4 times y plus 4. And then everything else, I'm just kind of keeping my signs, trying to stay organized as I go. Step, we've done that before. They call it foil. I hate the word foil. But we're going to kind of distribute these out. So then we can start to combine stuff in a minute. So I'll start with this one. I would get what? X squared. I would have minus 3x, which would be minus 6x plus 9. So that's expanding my first binomial. Then I have a plus sign, and I'll expand this binomial. Y squared plus 4y. Oh, excuse me. I'm just going to do the plus 4y, so I don't need to rewrite it a million times. Because plus 4y will give me plus 8y plus 16. All right, so we just have a whole bunch of stuff going on. You can kind of do the next part, whatever works for you. We're going to combine like terms, and then we'll put everything in the correct order in the end. So I only have this one x squared, so I'll just keep that as x squared. Let's see, I have negative 6x. Oh, that's it, right? Okay, that doesn't help me because there's nothing to combine with that. I have the y squared. I have the 8y. I can just basically have the constants to combine, right? Oh, shoot, that does equal 0. 9 plus 60 minus 25. That all just kind of cancels out, and then you can just write equal 0. And then the fifth step just says make sure everything's in the correct order. So we do want it in this specific order. So you have the x squared term, the quadratic term. Then you have the y squared term. Then you have the x term. Then you have the y term. If we had a constant, we would put it there. We don't, so we can just leave it. And that equals, and that, my friends, would be your final answer. So nothing, I mean, that's really nothing new, right? It's all stuff we've done before. We've expanded binomials and moved stuff around. You can do that all day. It's just to make sure that in the end, once we get all of our terms, they are in the correct order for general. Does anyone have a question with that first example? Okay, let's do that. We'll do the other first one together, just so you know, try one more time. And then we can try the other one in a little bit. Just try not to rush. I'll move you guys over. We got a whole board here. Come for a little ride, guys. There you go. So I'm going to try that kind of first example underneath where it says x plus 1 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 60. I'm going to close the door. Getting aggressive over there. Okay. So let's just go through the steps one more time. First step, set this equal to 0. So I'm going to have x plus 1. And you can kind of, if you're combining a few steps, like feel free, go for it. Minus 16 equals 0. I'm going to expand my binomials. Y plus 2, y plus 2. I'm going to actually, do that multiplication out to the distributing. So that would be x squared plus 2x plus 1. This would be y squared plus 4x plus 4 minus 16 equals 0. And then for this one, as I combine, I'm just going to write it in that general form, so I don't need to do a million extra steps. So I have my x squared term. I have my y squared term. I have my x term. Why do I have x here? That should be a y, Mrs. Sherman. Sorry about that. Got my x term, got my y term, and then I have a whole bunch of constants that I can combine together. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 minus 16 is negative 11. And that, my friends, would be your final answer. So you can probably save yourself some time. You could probably expand these and kind of set it equal to 0 in one step. So whatever's working for your brain, you do that. Just a whole bunch of simplifying and distributing and all that fun stuff. So anyone have a question with that? Why don't you guys, while we're here, why don't you just try the last one while I take attendance? And then we'll flip it over. The back side, there is a little more work intensive here. But we will do it together. I'll show you how to do it. It's going to bring in one of our favorites, completing a square. So that should be fun. Excuse me. I'm struggling. I want to do attendance, but I need to open the meet. So I'll check this. Oh, so you're saying, hey, that's not that bad either. The next thing about circles is, what is stuff do you know? Just kind of like relating it to this new equation. I'm going to do attendance. What are you guys working on last week? Oh, yeah. All right, looks like most people are kind of done. I'm just trying to give you the answer. If you see a problem with it, you let me know. I will help you out. But I don't think at this point I probably need to do all of the algebra out for you. So the answer should be, I like to write answers. I'm saying math answers is annoying. Your answer for that second problem should be x squared plus y squared plus 6x minus 8y equals 0. So on that one, your constant crossed out 2. Hey, that was the same one. Oh my God, it was the same one. Sorry, I didn't realize
No,
that.
it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Y minus 4 instead of Y plus 4.
Oh, okay, it was almost the same one. Thank you. It technically was not the same one. Thank you very much. I was gonna say, those numbers look familiar.
The signs.
Yeah, the sign, it changed some of the things. So any problems with converting? So that was converting from standard form to general form. Now we're gonna go opposite. We're gonna go general form to standard form. So the thing with general form, like standard form we like. We can tell the center, we can tell the radius, we can graph, we can tell information that we need. Like general form is just like a whole bunch of stuff, and then it's like, I don't really know anything about this circle. So a lot of times you will have to convert it back to standard form if you see something in general form. So we just want to get used to that conversion. So I'm looking at my example. We have what, x squared plus 8x minus 2y minus 64 equals 0. So they're kind of like aggressively making steps. Like some of these we can combine in a second. I'll keep it as a step here, but when we do the second one, we'll combine. So the first step says, group your x's and y's. So what that means is we're just going to switch the order a little bit. When I have x squared, I want that other x term next to it. So I'm going to write plus 8x. So I'm basically taking it out of general form, and that's okay. And then I'm going to put the y squared, and I'll put the 2y next to it. We have minus 64 equals 0. So once again, they got like a little aggressive writing the steps. And the second step says move the constant to the other side. We probably could have done that in one step, right? But we have x squared plus 8x plus y squared minus 2y, and we're going to move the constant to the right side. That could probably be one step. We'll do it as that in the example. Ooh, add blanks. Remember back in the day, good old completing the square? So we're going to actually add 2 blanks. We're going to do x squared plus 8x plus blank. Okay. So we want to make that a perfect square trinomial. So basically, so we work backwards to have it look like that. And then we're going to have plus y squared minus 2y plus blank. And on the right side, since you added 2 blanks to the left side, on the right side, you're going to have plus blank plus blank. This sounds very, you say it a lot, but. So I kind of add those blank spots in. We're going to complete the square. Hey, does anyone remember? If the middle term is 8, what would my blank be? Anyone remember how to do it? It would be 16. You take this, divide it by 2, and then square it. So this over 2 squared gives me 16. And then you do the same thing here. This over 2 squared would be 1. So then I'm also going to add 16 and 1 on that side as well. So that was I kind of did that. That was step 4, but if you wanted to rewrite it, go for it. So steps 3 and 4 kind of go together. And the whole reason we do that is so now, we have perfect square trinomials, we can factor it. So if I factor that first trinomial, that would factor to x plus 4 squared. If I factor the second trinomial, that would factor to y plus 1, y minus 1. Y minus 1 squared. I'm just going to put a plus in between to separate those 2 terms. And that's going to equal 64 plus 61 is 81, 81. And I'm done. So like when we were doing completed square, you complete it, then you have to do a whole bunch of solving with quadratics. You don't have to do that. The main goal of that was coming up so we could put it in that factor form so it looks like standard form. So once you actually do it, you're done. It's just reminding ourselves about those steps and going from there. So I'll try that first example, and then you guys will try the second one. I'll kind of give you some updates about work over the next few days. Just as a heads up, Monday we're reviewing, Tuesday we're having a quiz on circles. So just make sure you come up with questions Monday, ask anything that you need, and we should be in good shape for that quiz on Tuesday. Well, I got plenty of room over here, so I'll kind of do my example over here. So that first one, we got x squared plus y squared plus 24x plus 6y plus 137 equals 0. So we can probably combine a few of these steps, right? First step is we want to rearrange to put x's and y's together, plus I can kind of move the constant. And I'm just going to add the blanks. Like, why make more steps than we have to? So I'm going to write this as x squared plus 24x plus blank. And then we have plus y squared plus 6y plus blank. And I'm going to move that constant over, negative 137 plus blank plus blank. Okay? So you can kind of, once you're, as you're starting to get used to, I'm just making sure everything's on there. Okay. As you're starting to get used to just where things go, it's like, oh, I'm just going to do that every time. We might as well just do it all in one rather than have to rewrite it a million times. So now we're going to complete the square. So 24 divided by 2 is 12, squared is 144. I'm just going to factor this while I'm here, right? Might as well kind of focus on one thing at a time. That would factor to x plus 12 squared. Over here, 6 divided by 2 is 3, squared is 9. I'm going to factor this. That would be y plus 3 squared. Just put a plus in between, right, for standard form. We just need to separate them. And that's going to, oh, I never added them on this side. That's going to equal, we need to add 144 and 9. And that's going to equal 16. And then that would be my final answer. So now you could, like if I had given you this form and said, hey, what's the center? You would say, I have no clue what the center is. But now I know the center because I know H and K. So like little things like that are kind of questions I ask on the quiz. I made it yesterday. Try really hard, guys. So I would say like, oh, here's an equation in general form. Can you identify the center and the radius? Sure, you just have to put it in standard form. So kind of just a lot of going back and forth between your forms. So our main goal today and tomorrow is to just practice with that. And then obviously on Monday, if we have more questions, we can answer them. But I know it kind of wrote the steps up for you. You can kind of combine some of those. So why don't you guys try number 2? And just as a, well, just try it. It's kind of weird with the y squared because there's no y. That just means you wouldn't have to complete the square. You would just leave it as y squared. So you'll do it for the x part. The y squared part would just stay. That just means it's through a 0, right? See what you can do. We'll go over in a second. I'll do the steps up to that one. So I'll do 2 in a second. Here. Just gonna write that one out. All right, so I'm gonna go over that one just quick. So I would just, you just start going in, okay. If I have x squared, I want to group the x's together, plus 2x, I'll add my blank in. And then I go and I say, oh, y squared, let me, put it with other y's. There isn't any. You can't do anything, right? It can't complete a square if there's no middle term. So you just kind of leave it as y squared. And I'll move the 99 over. Since I only added one blank, I only add one blank. So I'm going to complete the square here. 2 divided by 2 is 1, squared is 1. If I factor that, that would be x plus 1 squared. You know, that one over there. Once again, I just kind of, that y squared just kind of chills, right? That equals 100. And that's my standard form. So now I could say like, hey, what's the center? You would say the center's at -1, 0, right? When we just wrote y squared, we assumed there was a 0 there with it. Hey, what's the radius? Since this is r squared, the radius is just 10. So now you can answer some questions about that circle. So that's why we do a little converting. So that is that. So that's the main objective of today. Oh, look at us. We've been just like, I told Mrs. Keeson the other day, I just like love circles so much. They're just so delightful to work with. They're quick. It's like, you get your little formulas, you're all set. None of that crazy stuff we were doing before. We were doing like 8,000 step problems. Okay, so I'll give people at home just another second in case you still need that. So I quickly, there is going to be a little homework tonight, but yes, we still have 20 minutes left of class, so you know, I'm giving you some time in class to do it. And then I want to show you what your assignment is going to be tomorrow, because I won't be here, and you're not going to have to do all of it. There's like an aggressive amount of problems, so we'll come to decide maybe like evens or odds, but we'll do a quick look at that. And then that'll give you a little bit of time to kind of work and get caught up and everything, and go from there. All right, so for the people at home, I'm just going to go to my Google Classroom. I just don't remember what the heck everything is. So if you go to your next page in your little packet, I'm just looking at my Google Classroom because everything's kind of, excuse me. So we just did that. So Thursday 4/8 homework, it says, where is it? Converted to standard form practice. Oh, so that's exactly what we were just doing. So it gives you, 6 problems. So those are general form, you're converting to standard form. So that's the one we figure you probably need a little more practice on. So once again, you're just going through, rearranging, moving your constant, completing the square, doing all that fun stuff. So that's what you guys will try tonight for homework. It does say, what does this do? Tomorrow by noon, just do it today, right? I just said tomorrow, like before class time, but like you could probably do it in the next 10 minutes and be good. And then tomorrow, I think it should be the last page in that little packet thing that I gave you, is basically just some more problems, but there's an aggressive amount. How many were there? There's 30 of them. I don't think we need to do 30 problems. Oh no, it's numbered. Annoying. Who numbers down? Go right, left, or left, right. Oh god. Ravinsky out of me. Anyways, for tomorrow, I'm gonna write a note in the thing. Complete during class. Only do the odd numbers. So for tomorrow, you have the worksheet. I'll post, like this is already posted. Don't do all of them, only do the odds, okay? It says it's technically due on Monday before class, right? So I'm gonna check it on Monday. So if you're virtual, obviously just submit it. If you want to show it to me in class on Monday, that's fine. But for tomorrow, which was like 30 problems, we just cut them in half, so only do the odds. So that's kind of our next few days wrapping up circles. And that's kind of it. And I forget what we're doing. We're doing something. Oh, we're doing arcs and area. For the 2 days leading up to vacation, so I shouldn't do that either. So that's kind of the deal. So for the peeps at home, yeah, I did say that. So you got, actually, hold on, give me 1 second. This video is